Yeah, I think we also need to keep in mind there's this thin veil between heaven and earth.
Ooh.
There's this thin, I mean, it's paper thin. It can be seen through at times. And God is right there, right? God is 1 second away. And in fact, right as he dwells with us, he's one thought away, always willing to be right there with us in the midst of stuff. And what he wants is us for not to have our Sunday theology and then our Monday mornings, we start trying to make our own stuff and we say, okay, God, I'll get back to you when Sunday morning comes. No, God wants to go with us so that your Monday morning or your Tuesday or, gosh forbid, your time change Monday. Is that where we're on right now?
Yes, time change Monday.
Oh my
Brutal.
gosh. It's like, you guys can't see our weather, but it is gray. It is overcast. It's been sleeting and raining out here. We've got a nice, gentle 40-mile-an-hour wind.
It's been brutal.
And we're like crashing here at 1 p.m. in the afternoon.
Yeah, living by the coffee cup. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and so that's why we started talking about this is like, man, there are times where no matter how great your job is, you're like, this sucks.
Yeah.
But when we can pull back to that biblical perspective that says my work matters because Jesus matters, suddenly we can start re-engaging in work in a healthy way where it doesn't become all consuming because I'm building my stuff. And ultimately God is responsible for the outcome of our work.
Mm-hmm.
And he's faithful in that. But we say, like, why would I not want to go to work when I get to be part of what God's doing through eternity?
Yeah.
Sign me up for that.
Because what happens is you actually enter into that phrase from the Lord's Prayer, right? Most people have that who have grown up in church, they have that prayer memorized, but there's that concept of thy kingdom come, thy will be done. And that not being quarantined off to Sunday mornings, but allowing that to envelop your whole life of God's kingdom coming today through us, God's kingdom coming and being unveiled
where?
right here on earth,
as
and through,
it is in heaven,
as in heaven, and through our hands, and through our interactions with our coworkers, through our interactions with our bosses and managers, through our interactions with our employees or those who work underneath us. Those things working together starts to fulfill through us. God fulfills that through us. The answer of that prayer of thy kingdom come, thy will be done.
Yeah, and I would say real quick, one way to make your work more significant, and we run into this, is we're project people. I'd say both of us are project people, right? Is you got to go back and remember that work is always meant to be people over projects, right? Because the project, it's relational, right? We're meant to be changed as we interact with people and help change them as they interact with us. And so where in your work can it be about people?
Yeah, and I think that's what we have to, it's one of those things where you have to wrestle with that, and there's so many different types of jobs that you have to kind of wrestle with that. And that's what I mean by developing a theology of work. That if it was there in perfection, then it should be here now as we work perfection into the imperfection.
Right, and maybe, I've gotten this before. Someone says, well, listen, I am a writer. I sit by myself in a room for 8 hours a day by myself. I don't interact with people. I have no one to invest in. It's not just one-sided, right? It's not just the work, but it's the fruit of the work. Right? When we bring home an income, right? And God says, man, use that to take care of your family, yourself, your needs, some of your wants, right? God is an abundant God. He's generous. And then you say, wait a second, God, first, let me put you right there. God, let me make you a priority. Let me bless someone. Let me save some extra so I'm ready when the stranger knocks on my door and says, hey, you got any food? Or the person at church says, hey, I'm doing an adoption. And can you help fundraise a little bit so we can bring some kids home?
Yeah. It becomes so encapsulating because what percentage of time of our lives is work, whether it's working out outside of the home or inside the home, working out.
I thought you meant this.
Well, that too, but what I mean,
very little. Very little.
What I was getting at was working outside of the home or housework, working in the yard, doing those things. Basically, when we're not sleeping, we're working on we're doing some capacity of work. And I think that should mean that developing an idea of what God thinks about work and how we work is so important that it envelops 99% of our life, and it keeps God from being on the outside and brings him right into the here and now.
And here's the next side of this, right? We talk about work, and the part we don't talk about is rest. But when I put work back into the hands of God, he starts to say, you don't have to kill yourself doing work. Work is meant to be joyful and let it give you life, and then also rest from it. Do something you enjoy. Do something that brings life for others, right? Hang out with your kids. Go spend your stimulus check on something.
Yeah, go, because God is not a God who is sitting on a cloud judging us and writing down things.
Aaron, is there a harp?
Well, not that I know of. Yeah, maybe David. But what I see is this God who is, like you said, right on the other side of this veil, sitting there and going, I know you can do this and you can do this better. The same way that a father is cheering on his child as he's learning to walk, as he's taking his first steps. That's how I like to picture it, of God sitting there, and even though you stumble and you fall a little bit, he's sitting there going, you got this, and that first step towards him is so exciting.
And we I guess we haven't really talked about it, but work developes us too.
Yes.
Right? We're just trying to get our kids to take off the training wheels of their bike.
Okay.
It is terrifying.
It is.
And I wonder if God's like, okay, Stephen, you're about to take a step. It's going to be frightening for you, but I'll catch you. Yeah. Or guess what? If I don't catch you right away and you scrape your knee, you'll grow from it.
Yeah.
You'll realize that every fall doesn't kill you.
Yeah. And then what's amazing is as you grow and develop that, there's a reason that saying of it's like riding a bicycle. As soon as you hop right back on, you kind of get that back into your brain because it's developed in you. It's written on your heart. It's written on your soul. Of your identity, and your DNA is rewritten of being more like Christ.
Isn't that weird? It's like riding a bicycle. What was so hard and seemed impossible and made you bleed and maybe scrape an elbow suddenly becomes the new starting point.
Yeah.
And that's really what Christ died for, is that in him, it would be hard to follow, but it would become normal to the place of that would be our starting point. Of we start with Jesus, we end with Jesus, we daily work with Jesus. Like there'd be no end to where Jesus could invade our life and resurrect what's dead.
So we encourage you to start reworking what you think about work. I know let me come with a better terminology.
Yeah.
I encourage you to reframe how you think about work in light of what the Bible has to say about it and what God has said about work and how we're to do it. And so work through these things and try to figure out how you can work as if Christ is doing your job, as if you're doing it for Christ, not for some manager, for some paycheck at the end of the week, or for retirement to get out of work eventually. Those are the things that we should be doing. I think it's an important work that we as Christians need to develop. So maybe next time we look out the window and we want to throw something through the window because we have more yard work to do, instead let's be like, okay, maybe I'm doing something that is actually part of God's kingdom, and it reframes it and reworks it in our brains so that we have a better context and understanding of it.
Yeah, I can't argue with that.
With that said, be blessed. We'll see you next time on another edition of Walnut Grove Cultural Conversations. Cheers.
Get to work.